Hello everyone, my name is Maurice Janssen. In today's video I explore dilemmas and conflicts that arise between ports and cities. I notably consider the question, how can ports and cities around the world strive for sustainability while at the same time provide for prosperity for people living in these port city regions? Many port city regions around the world are developing ambitious port expansion plans to gear up their economies. At the same time, these port cities are troubled by heavy congestion, labor disputes, negative public opinions, air and water pollution, scarcity of land, a degradation of biodiversity, and deprived neighborhoods often located near the port. This leads to several dilemmas for port cities as interests between stakeholders conflict. Some of these dilemmas are listed here. We will explore some of them. One dilemma is the level of automation and the loss of jobs in port city. Automation eliminates human errors and enhances productivity, which means a container terminal can handle more containers. By being more productive, a container terminal is more attractive and competitive. The labor unions think differently. Unions fear for the loss of jobs for blue-collared workers and do not hesitate to take a stance and go on strike. Labor disputes are still very common in port cities around the world. A recent example was the port strike in the west coast of the United States, when 14,000 longshoremen slowed down their work in 29 coastal ports, thereby impacting the economy for an estimated amount of $2 billion per day. Another example of friction between stakeholders is related to safety. Despite the global standards on dangerous goods handling and transport, the Lebanese capital and port city of Beirut was rocked by a massive explosion that killed hundreds and injured thousands more, ravaging the heart of the city's nearby downtown business district and housing areas. The disaster devastating Beirut port and city shows the latent danger of safe storage and potentially dangerous goods in modern ports. It also raises concerns about the lack of cooperative governance in providing port security and apparent institutional voids between stakeholders such as port authorities, customs authorities, ship owners, charterers, and national and city governments. Lamu Port in Kenya is another example where conflict occurs over a large-scale port expansion project aimed at establishing a brand new port, oil refinery, and transport hub. It is expected to become the gateway to the Horn of Africa, offering employment to thousands of people. However, the port attracted strong resistance from local stakeholders who have appealed against the project. They have criticized the project for not taking into account the concerns of fishermen and indigenous communities who depend on the national resources. The High Court of Kenya has affirmed these local communities' rights. Therewith, it has delivered a firm judgment on public involvement and an encouragement for ensuring corporate social responsibility in port infrastructure development. Venice is an excellent example of how economies of scale cast a shadow over the livability of the historic port city. The passenger terminal is located at the junction between the historical center and the mainland. Port cities such as Venice have witnessed enormous growth in both cruise ship size as well as cruise passengers. The case of Venice shows the complexity of cruise terminals as a lucrative economic activity for the port city, while at the same time, numerous tourists put pressure on the livability of the original inhabitants. In many of these conflicts that we presented, there is a risk that people who are anxious or angry may incite social unrest, upheaval, strikes, and stagnation of projects. Our research indicates that when stakeholders are more proactive towards each other and embark on a more collaborative approach, their relationships improve and new social contracts provide better opportunities for innovation. Thank you.